Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ask robtrek, where I try to answer your questions from the comment sections in my videos. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below of this video, and I'll do my best to answer them. Alright, today's question is from Joseph McGrath, and I'm sorry it took so long for me to get back to you on this, but basically has a pen F, and his question is, I love the magnified view in manual focus mode. I've had it working in AF mode as well. My problem is I have no detailed info about how to be in control of this feature anytime I need it or don't need it. And also he's asking about third-party books that I might be able to, recommend. And unfortunately, I don't have any recommendations for third-party books on the Pen F, but I'm sure they're out there. So if anyone knows, leave a comment down below for Joseph so that he can pick one of those up. But for now, I can show you how to use the Magnify feature on the Pen F. And actually, this feature is pretty much the same across all the Olympus cameras, so you can apply what I show you here to just about any other camera. Now, on the Pen F, you actually have a dedicated Magnify button feature here that'll let you punch in to zoom in to anywhere in the frame here. But if you're using a different Olympus camera without a dedicated button, you can, of course, reprogram really just about any of the other programmable buttons. So all you'd have to do is go into the menu, go over here to your button menu, button function, and let's say I wanted to reprogram the function button. I can just scroll up until I see magnify right here, click OK, and now my function 1 button here is set to magnify. And when I push it, it punches in, push it again. Alright, now the magnify function actually does two things. One, obviously it magnifies into the area that you choose, but two, when you're magnified in or zoomed in, it actually changes the focus to a single point. So let's look at these two things. So to activate the magnify, you just push on the magnify button, and a little green box pops up here to show you the area that it's going to magnify onto, and also where the focus point is. So I can move this around if I want to focus onto a different area. Let's say I want to focus on the letters here, for example. I can just punch in again by pushing the magnify button, and now I'm zoomed in to that area. And once we're zoomed in, you'll see a couple of things here, right? You'll see the magnify or magnification here. We're now at 10x magnification. And then over here we have a little box with a white rectangle inside that shows you the relative position of where we're magnified to in the frame. And of course, if we move all the way over to the left, you can see that the white box is moved over and we can refocus here. Now remember what I said about it changes the autofocus to a single point. It's a little hard to see. Let me put a piece of paper here, but you should be able to see a reticle here that's like in the shape of a square. So we have these four corners outlining the focus point, the single focus point that we're going to focus on. So we can increase our focusing precision, when we're using autofocus, when we're in a magnified view. And we can zoom in even more by rotating the front and rear dials. So I can zoom into as high as 14x, and I can go out as far as 3x. And we can move over, and let's just zoom in again. And then if I have pressed the shutter button, it'll focus on that point. So let's go out to 3x, and just take note of how much we can see of this penny here. And when I push the magnify again, it comes back out, and you can see this green rectangle representing the area that we just zoomed out from. And to deactivate the magnify button or magnify feature, you just press the OK button when you're zoomed out. All right, let's push the magnify button again. And when we're not zoomed in, the camera is actually going to autofocus anywhere within this green area here. So it's no longer in single point autofocus targeting mode. It's now in this green rectangle is where it's going to focus in. So it's a little bit random where it might pick a point inside here. So just be conscious of that. But of course you can always punch in again, zoom it all the way into 14x, and pick the point that you want, like that. And then when we zoom out, you can see we're back to single point here, just like we were in the magnified view. But it's just be very conscious that when you're zoomed out like this, it's no longer in single point mode. It's going to pick the first thing it finds contrast in within this entire green rectangular area. Now another way to activate the magnify mode is by using the touchscreen. However, right now we're in the shutter mode function, so anywhere I touch on the screen, it's going to focus on that point and take a picture. So if I change this to just the focusing mode here, now when I put my finger on, it'll move the focus point around anywhere I have my finger. And I can also zoom in using the little slider bar here. So there's no pinch to zoom type functionality. You use this slider bar. And then if I push the magnify button again, it'll punch into that area that we pointed out on the touch screen. And then of course we're back into single point autofocus. But let's back out. And I just want you to note that it actually says off here right now. I'm not sure why this says off, because it's still active. Just ignore it when you have the magnify activated. Now just a couple other last minute notes here is that it doesn't really matter what your focusing target point is or target area is when you're in the super control panel. So for example, if I move this all the way over here and I'm in a small area point, if I click the magnify button, you can see it picks up where it left off from the last time I used it. And even if I select all points, so let me do that, something like this. If I magnify again, it's not going to honor whatever was in the super control panel. It's going to use the last focus point that I picked when I was in the magnify feature. And then one last tip is, let's go ahead and click the magnify feature. If I just want to quickly recenter this, I just press and hold the OK button, and it'll recenter the magnify area. And that's everything I know about the magnify feature on the Olympus Pen F. And of course, this can be applied really to almost all the Olympus cameras. And if you have any other questions, leave them in the comments below. And for everyone watching, if you find these videos helpful, consider buying me a coffee or making a small donation in the links below, because they help me to continue making videos like this and they are greatly appreciated. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.